Good morning, everybody. And again, I'm so happy that you are here. And now we're going to be doing these sessions every morning every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. I spoke to the College of Medicine, whom I work with, and they said, can you have something consistent and regular that you can commit to? And I thought, okay, I can do every Wednesday at 8 a.m. And that doesn't mean that I won't do additional things, but it means into the foreseeable future, you can trust that if you want to sign up to this on a Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., that you'll have the ability to do that on the website. So what I wanted to do today, I try and do different things most mornings, although after a certain amount of time, you can't keep doing different things. But what I want to do is focus on flowing with the breath through different channels of the body. Now, from a yoga perspective, this has the value of sending energy to other parts of the body. And we have these channels called nadis, where all the energy flows and opens them. But from a neurological perspective, this also has benefit, which is primarily why I chose it. So when you pay attention to moving your mind from like the crown of your head, flowing all the way through your body down to your toes, or through your hand up to your shoulder, or from one hand through to the other hand, passing through both shoulders, what you do is you provide neurological information and enhance the awareness of the flow from one part of the body to another. And that allows the brain to pick up a real clear sense of where you are in space. And in time, really highlights that for the brain so that it becomes easier and easier to drop out of the agitated mind and into this physical space. So that's why I'm choosing it. Now, doing it with Ujjayi breath is very helpful. So if you know how to practice Ujjayi breath, I invite you to do that. It is not mandatory, but it will help you with the flow and with the imaginal. If you don't know how to practice that, there are many other videos that I've done on it, so I'm not going to focus on that this morning, and you can just use natural breath. But before we do any of this, let us just settle in to how we are breathing now. So have your eyes just downcast or closed, let them flutter closed. Feel yourself sitting. Notice your inhale and exhale. Your energy. Your mind. How fast are the thoughts? Are the thoughts full of worry? Are they pleasant? Are they neutral? Just notice. Just sense what it's like to be you, here, now. And now, as and when you're ready, I would recommend, although it's not necessary, that you lie down flat. It will be easier. Generally, I do these breathing practices sitting upright, and you don't have to. But when you do the circuits and you're sitting up, it becomes more challenging to engage in the imaginal. Like if your knees are crossed, you have to move up through crossed knees, through to the head and back down. It's harder to focus. So I'll just give everybody a moment if they do want to come lying on the back. That will facilitate the imaginal for your brain a little bit more easily. Okay. We're going to start really simply. And until I change a circuit, I want you to keep focusing on that one. So I want you to inhale from your nose to your toes, and exhale from your toes to your nose. And if you can, I really want you to imagine it going through each part of the body and noticing if there's a jump. Now, for some of us, the idea of a light with a particular color is helpful. Now you can choose any light or any color you want. Often people like white light. But I'm going to be using green. In yoga, green is the color of the heart energy. And I think it's nice to bring that sense of love into our bodies. And I do like imagining that the breath is traveling from the nose to the toes on this green light and back up. It helps my mind to grasp onto something. If it doesn't for you, you can just focus on the breath, inhaling from the nose to the toes. Exhaling from the toes to the nose. And now we're going to keep that circuit, but we're going to go the opposite direction. So I know it might be strange, but I want you to inhale from the toes up to the nose and exhale from the nose to the toes. So it's a little bit of a mind work for the brain, possibly. That's okay. You're training some cognitive flexibility. Right? If it doesn't come for you right away, that's not an issue. That means you're having to try and figure it out, possibly create some new circuits in the brain. So it doesn't have to be easy for it to be really useful. And for some of you, it'll be easy. We're all different, right? Inhaling from the toes to the nose. Exhaling from the nose to the toes. Keep the breath long, but it probably will be naturally when you have to focus on the circuits. It elongates the breath. It's like a little trick, right? And if you've come to any of my sessions before, you know there's a real physiological value in elongating the breath. Okay. So we're going to change circuits again. I want you to inhale now from the crown of the head to the base of the spine, and exhale from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. So new circuit. Inhaling from the crown of the head to the base of the spine, exhaling from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. So we take the nose out of the equation now. Remember, you can use the light, the green light or the white light. And now let's switch directions. Inhale from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Exhale from the crown of the head to the base of the spine. So we'll always do that. We will always go in one direction and then switch, right? Asking of your brain to have come out of a pattern and to engage a different one. Okay, so another circuit. I want you to inhale from your left hand, through your left arm to your left shoulder, over to your right shoulder, down your right arm to your right hand. So basically inhaling from the left hand to the right hand and exhaling from the right hand to the left hand. And now switch directions. Inhale from the right hand to the left hand and exhale from the left hand to the right hand, all the way back and forth through the arms and the shoulders. And any thoughts that you have that take you away, just come back to the circuit. I'm not saying they're not important or valid, but in the context of this exercise, they're not. The focus is cultivating your brain's capacity to imagine while engaging in calming breath for the nervous system. You're rewiring here. And now we're going to imagine inhaling from the left foot, up the left leg, around the pelvis, down through the right leg, down to the right foot, and then exhaling from the right foot, up the right leg, and all the way down again to the left foot. So begin that circuit now, inhaling from the left foot, all the way up the leg, down to the right foot, and then exhaling from the right all the way up and down to the left. Keep the breath subtle and smooth. And it's those moments when the circuit feels choppy that even though, again, it might not feel comfortable, that you are doing rewiring. And so that's absolutely fine. And if you're enjoying it, well, that's great too, if it's easy. But if it's not, you are still accruing great benefit. And now let's switch directions. So now inhale from the right all the way to the left, and exhale from the left all the way to the right. Okay. And now we're going to change. We're going to have a crossover circuit. So that's also interesting from your brain, for your brain. So you're going to inhale from the left hand, up the left arm, through to the shoulder, and then down the torso, diagonally over to the right leg, down the right leg to the right foot. And then exhaling from the right foot, up the right leg, through to the torso to the left side, all the way out with the left hand. So from the left hand to the right foot, and from the right foot to the left hand. And now switch. Inhaling from the right foot up to the left hand, and then exhaling from the left hand through to the right foot. Feel a sense of silkiness and fluidity in your breath. Keep it gentle. Allow the circuits and the imaginal to rise organically. You're focusing on it, right? But it takes time for your brain to really sense into that, to find ease. We're not forcing. We're going to take the last circuit for right now. We could keep doing this for an hour. We could keep going through different circuits. Right? But let's do the last one for this morning. So we're going to inhale now from the right hand to the left foot, and exhale from the left foot all the way up to the right hand. So this one now. And now switch directions. So inhaling now from the left foot to the right hand, and exhaling from the right hand to the left foot. And let go of the circuits after you finish your exhale. And just feel your whole body breathing. There's so many different ways you can do this. And now on this occasion, I'm not going to ask you to do it in a particular way. Just find your own mode. Sense your whole body breathing. Your whole body breathing on the inhale. Your whole body exhaling. And again, this is part of like an imaginal piece in yoga, right? This idea that prana can invade every single pore of the body, but it's actually not just the imaginal, because what happens when you breathe, right? Oxygen moves across the pulmonary wall to every cell of your body. And then carbon dioxide moves from every cell in your body back through the bloodstream to your lungs and out into the air. So it's not just imaginal. And as you do this, let's just bring a little bit of mindfulness in. By watching if thoughts are cropping up in the middle. And rather than pushing them away or just refocusing the mind immediately, just to breathing. And that's a concentration meditation practice. If you notice thoughts, just label them, saying, thinking to yourself. And then come back to the breathing body. See the dance. See how your mind can focus on the breath and how thoughts just percolate up like bubbles, some with strong emotional content that are more difficult to let go of, and some that are light. And when you shine the light of awareness onto them, just disappear into the ether. See. And again, just breathing. Your whole being is breathing. And then thoughts will come in. So will sounds. And when sounds emerge, you can say to yourself, hearing, 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 and then again coming back. To just the inhale, just the exhale. Time has flown by in this session for me at least. So just take a moment. We're about to end the whole practice. And sense into how you feel. What is it like now to be you? How is your mind? How is your body? How is your heart? And if you want in the background to just keep doing this, go right ahead. I'm gonna start answering questions in just a moment until 8:45. So if you feel like you want to keep doing this breathing, this meditation, go ahead. And if you want to come up too. So I always have a few announcements. So actually today I'm teaching a course at 10 a.m. if any of you do want to join, mental health skills for yoga teachers. And then here's Minnie. And then I'm not teaching anything again till next week. I think I'm doing the trauma sensitive yoga skills on Monday and rewiring the anxious brain, which is like a 2-hour lecture. But for me, what's exciting is 2 new things, which I have. Marlisa Sullivan, for any of you that are yoga professionals, she's doing a yoga therapy online observation on the 9th. I think it's at 5 p.m. UK time. And she's one of the leaders of yoga therapy in the world. So I'm really excited about that. And then my compassion training and also the one on chronic pain. So you guys can look that up if you're interested. And I know I've gotten a lot of emails saying, how come you have a level 2 pranayama and not a level 1? It's because I ran level 1 so many times in a row, but I will put up another level 1 so that other people can come to the level 2. I'll find a date that works. Oh, and the last thing, so don't forget the Yoga and Healthcare Alliance course. We're going to run it one more time at the discounted rate. I think it's in June, in late June, if you go to the Yoga and Healthcare Alliance. It's the 22nd to the 25th of June. Yeah, anyway, enough about those announcements. And if you have questions, at the bottom of the page, right, you can raise your hand. Oh, thank you. And many thanks you for your comments as well. At the bottom of the page, you can raise your hand, and I'm happy to answer any questions. If there are no questions, then I'm happy to just let you go. I'm happy you feel so calm. Thank you for your comments. Right, but do feel free to ask questions or comments. If you don't know how to raise the hand feature at the bottom of the page, you can always just unmute yourself and ask a question that way. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you. I'm happy you enjoyed it. I did this amazing, well, not that I did it, but there was this amazing group that I taught this yoga therapy for anxiety course from Thursday on till Monday. And I was thinking about them when I did this. Thank you. Okay, some questions. Lorna, we'll start with you. I can unmute. Oh, you've unmuted yourself.
Morning, Heather. Hi there. I noticed that when I first started doing that practice, that my attention immediately wanted to move outside of my body rather than inside, particularly the from the crown of the head to the spine, which I thought was interesting.
Mm.
I was just wondering if you had any comments or thoughts on that. I did notice at the end of it, I was starting to travel more through my body. I found that quite emotional, actually. A lot of emotion came up for that, particularly on one side of the body.
It's very hard to say why something like, you know, when you add the second piece, maybe there was a resistance to being with some kind of felt experience. It's very possible. And so there was that pushing away. And then when you came to it, there is emotion. And, you know, we always say the body holds memory, or there's that famous book, The Body Keeps the Score. And when we bring our attention to particular areas, things come up. From a meditation perspective, we would be told that the mind always wants to come up with answers and point to something for this is why, and that attachment often prevents us from just being with. I know I can hear my meditation teacher responding to that question.
I should probably know that answer myself.
Doing something, don't let it pull you in. Yeah.
Even through the process, I kept saying, "Stop trying to analyze it, just be with it," you know.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
some nature of truth that nobody else can give you just arises naturally to the surface when we stop asking the question. You
yeah,
know this, though. You've said it.
yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Uh, so Louise Windsor, you're next. Oh no. Well, it was Alicia, but Louise, go ahead. I'm sorry, Alicia. I saw the wrong order. You'll go next. Louise?
Hi, Heather. Thank you for that. It was lovely.
My pleasure.
I just wanted to just ask about the pranayama level 2. I've done the level 1 and I'd like to do the level 2, but I can't do next Friday. Do you think you'll be doing another one?
I will, but I need to do a bunch of level ones, you know, to
Yeah.
do a level 2. But yeah, once I do a course, I repeat it.
Okay, cool. All right. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. Um, okay. Alicia, oh, you know what? I want to call on all of you to please invite other people as well next Wednesday. You know, wouldn't it be cool if we had like 500 people? Because that's how many people I can have on a call. So do invite other people to this. Alicia, I'll unmute you. Oh, sorry, I muted. We did it at the same time. I ended up.
Okay, it's working out. Thank you so much, Heather. I've just done a course yesterday on from Minded Institute. What was it? Yoga Nidra for mental health. It was fascinating. So thank you so much, and thank you for this morning practice. One question, well, two questions. The first one, I did have trouble logging in this morning, same as someone else as well. So if you could give brief recap in terms of the science behind and why it works, that would be super helpful. And a sub question to that, I was just wondering, in terms of Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, does that work in a similar way to the circuits breathing?
It's a little bit different. I mean, but you're still having the brain flow back and forth to things, but there are different changes that are occurring and different impacts from choosing actively to occlude one nostril versus the other. Very briefly, because you can watch it on YouTube, and I have 2 more questions in just a few minutes. But basically, you know, you have a sensory, I didn't say this to anybody before, but you have a sensory somatic cortex, which picks up any kind of sensation. And the amount of attention that you place on a particular area of the body will directly relate to how much real estate you have there. And also, there's kind of a general sense of flow between awareness of body parts on the somatosensory cortex. So when you start paying attention, first of all, to all your body and through different channels, you're really waking up the somatosensory cortex in different ways, and you're helping with rewiring, which is why I did it. Actually, I gave a longer explanation, even though I said I would do shorter.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for joining. I'm happy you enjoyed with Shora. Okay. So we have Joe Welsh. Joe?
Hi, Heather. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
I wondered if you notice that the breath gets stuck at a particular point in the body, is there anything you can do to work on that, or should you just let it be for the practice?
Just let it be. Don't try and push through it. You know, this is not an exercise of catharsis and pushing through. And like I had originally said to Lorna, why is that the case? You know, we can make up reasons or we can analyze. But regardless of that, it's the brain is going into some kind of challenge around the imaginal there. And if we force it, it can often cause headaches. So just let it be and be interested in that. Be interested not in terms of what does it mean, but just I'm going to allow it. I'm going to keep watching and see if it changes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And Joe Groom.
Morning, Heather.
Morning.
I just wanted to ask, when we were doing the circuit, I found myself running out of breath, I was enjoying the slowness of the circuit, but then sort of getting halfway through and finding that I was pulling my breath onto the other side. How can you avoid doing that? Is it about moving the light a little bit faster, or is it just that breath becomes with more practice?
So it's both. In the beginning, move the breath faster between the circuits so that doesn't happen. Were you doing Ujjayi breathing? Do you know what that is?
Yes, yeah, I was doing on the exhale, yes.
Okay, so yeah, it becomes easier over time, but one of the breath practices that you can do to also enhance the amount of air you have in the lungs, which will help you with elongating the breath on the inhale and the exhale, is the 3-part sip. So you inhale little, stop, inhale little, stop, inhale little, and exhale long. So practice that quite a lot. That will help with what we call your tidal volume, which is the amount of air you take into the lungs, which will make it easier to elongate the inhalation and also following the exhalation.
Yeah. And is that best to do that as a separate exercise rather than with this exercise?
Do that separately. Yeah. Work on your lung capacity separately. Yeah.
Brilliant.
And
thank you, Heather.
Please, rather than lying down that one.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. So I don't see any more hands raised. I'll assume that there are no more questions or comments. And
sorry, Heather, hi, it's Jane here. I can't find the little thing to raise my hand.
Okay.
Probably all wrong. Can I just ask one question regarding the circuits? For people who are new to breathing, I am a yoga teacher, is it possible to shorten the circuits? For example, start with just an arm. So perhaps inhale, through the fingers up to the shoulder, and then exhale from the shoulder back down. And to do that through the body, just to get people used to, A, the technique of doing it, and B, not to feel that they have to have a longer breath.
Absolutely. You can definitely do that. And Joe Groom can also do that as well in the beginning. So you can do that. I mean, the circuits can be anywhere. Yeah. The reason that I want for the brain to have a point of edge on both sides. So I'm focusing specifically on things where there's a clear end and beginning, but you can still have that visually with the shoulder to the hand. I mean, really, we could have done this exercise for 2 hours and I wouldn't have run out of circuits. Yeah. Because I could do it from your toe to your big toe to your heel and back, and continuously go back and forth.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely, you can do that.
Yeah, that's great. From my point of view, interestingly, I found it much more difficult to go to inhale from my head down to my toes.
Mhm.
I found that difficult. Coming up from the toe, inhaling was fine, no difficulty at all. It's really quite bizarre, and I could really feel my brain having to work.
It's just interesting, like the why, but it is, it just is. And suddenly we recognize these things about our ability to imagine in our body that we didn't realize were there.
Yeah, yeah, no, very, very fascinating. I'm so pleased to have found you and these breathing classes, because it's something that really interests me, and I've learned so much. I did your pranayama 1 last week, and now this morning, and I've learned so much in 2 sessions. It's just amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm really pleased, and I hope to keep seeing you on them. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Jane.
I have to go now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye. So I see that, Sue, you just asked a question. I'll take just this last one, and then I have to run because I have to walk Minnie before I go make my breakfast and then teach for 6 hours. But yeah, I want to answer this one last question, Sue, for you. After that, I can't take any more. I'm really sorry. So Sue, go ahead.
I was thinking about the time as a new exercise, both for ourselves and maybe students one day. We did this for half an hour today, and the attention is only going to last so long, isn't it? Obviously, there's a point at which you start to drift, and you kept changing the circuits.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have you did this for half an hour because this is fitted today. Do you have an idea about timing?
I feel, though, that when you're giving people different things to focus on and they're being changed up, the tolerance level is greater. There isn't this amount of time. I mean, when I work with people who are very emotionally unwell and I'm asking them to focus on something where I want them to experience a change, I won't do it for less than 7 minutes. That's a rule, and that has to do with physiological parameters. But what I'll do beyond that, for something like this, which isn't a strict meditation and is requiring the mind to do very particular things, is I will just watch. I'll watch people's faces, and if they're starting to fidget, if their breath is quickening, which is always a sign that the mind is also quickening, and things like that, then I'll shorten it. But I would say go with your gut with people, but don't do this for less than 7 minutes on many of the practices, because the value then is not conferred on the body in the same way.
Oh, interesting. Gosh, yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's been fascinating, really fascinating. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So you can rewatch, and if you like, a particular thing and the guidance, you can always go to YouTube and you can watch it with me again, right? Or I won't be there, but you can listen to me again. Take good care, and I hope to see you next Wednesday and maybe in one of the courses. Bye, everyone. I've got to rush off right now.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye.